With Elden Ring's DLC getting closer and closer by the day, I decided that it was time for me to further my knowledge on the game. So I decided to try and beat Elden Ring's 15 remembrance bosses using only whips, highly regarded as one of the worst weapon types in this game. So I wanted to see without any prior build planning how strong I could make them. So within 10 minutes of me having this idea, I jumped straight into it. With the only rule being that I can only ever have whips equipped in my hands. Now luckily for me, getting the first whip was actually just a pickup. I didn't need to defeat an enemy for it, so no fist fights for me today. I did have to run all the way to Castle Morn though, that kinda sucked. Oh. Now I did beat the boss of Castle Morn with this weapon, which was miserable. What does a crit with this look like? Can I don't think I can. No! In my defense, I took a break from Elden Ring, so I was a bit rusty, and this was genuinely my first time using a whip, so I was a bit lost on what to do. Okay. Is that a sword that I just got? Get this weak out. Now this whip was really just a means to an end because I wanted to kill this guy and take his whip instead. But to kill this guy, I had to go to Caelid so that Millennia would take me to the Round Table Hold, take the shortcut to Leonia, find him out here near the academy, and then kill him when I was severely underleveled. I ended up resorting to hit and run tactics because I really didn't want to be fighting this guy for too long. Okay. Okay, I got it. I got his mask. That actually looks kind of cool. Can I power stance? Oh, you can! Now I was going to power stance the pedal whip with the normal whip, but that ended up kind of sucking, so I stuck with just the pedal whip. And the pedal whip has bleed, and that carries a lot during this playthrough. Oh, I bled him! But while looking at the Asher Wars I could put on it, I had a brainwave. I could put Hoarfrost Stomp on it and make it cold. I might do that actually. I might genuinely do that. I personally prefer Frost over Bleed, so this was kind of a no-brainer in my mind. Looking back on this, I could have just got the knife that let me make it cold with any Asher 4, but this made the most sense in my head at the time. So I was gonna have to beat Loretta to get to Hoarfrost Stomp. Now with the runes that I had, I could only get to level 19, so fighting Loretta wasn't the smartest idea, but I love Loretta, so I was down to throw myself at her a couple times. Not to mention, Loretta can't bleed, so my crutch wasn't gonna work. Fortunately, I know this boss like the back of my hand, so I beat it in like 20 minutes. Oh! Again, I didn't need to get this Asher 4 specifically. I could have just got the Glintstone knife, which I do later anyway, but I'm not exactly the most intelligent when it comes to this game. I also went and picked up the first Smithing Stone Bell Bearing, along with getting the Ghetsis medallion so I could get the second Bell Bearing. And so that I had enough runes to upgrade, I killed the big dragon because the whip did have bleed. So now I had a plus 12 pedal whip and I was level 32. I know that was a lot, thank you for bearing with me. Now I went to go put the Asher 4 on the weapon to make it cold, and this is where I learned something that I didn't know about the game. It does frost and bleed? If you cold infuse a weapon that has blood loss build up, you can cause frostbite and blood loss at the same time. So now I definitely had the confidence to take on the first two remembrance bosses. Oh, there we go, we got frost. There we go, we got bleed. Dude, that's nuts. The amount of times I'd get frost and blood loss off definitely made up for the low amount of damage these whips were doing. It made Rennala and Godrick just so easy. And I was starting to really enjoy the range I had with this thing. Plus, I could literally just stun lock Rennala and kill her. Even the Draconic Tree Sentinel went down without much of a problem. Damn! I definitely underestimated how powerful I was about to make the pedal whip. Just the range on top of the status effects just makes this almost broken. To which the setup that I thought was just going to get me past Godrick and Rennala got me all the way to Morgott. And even Goldfree, a boss that I couldn't do frost or bloodloss on, still went down really easily. Well, not super easily, I did die a few times. I'm dead. There we go. This clip here really shows how much damage I can get off if I get a frost and a bleed really close together. Now I was getting a little ahead of myself by fighting Morgott that soon. He is a boss that I always struggle on. So I doubled back and went and fought Radahn just to get him out of the way. Now I would say I was a little over-prepared for Radahn. He's a boss that I never quite get right. I'm either always over-prepared or under-prepared. What the fuck? I pressed my Windows key. Oh. Also, I'm not gonna beat it on my first try. Let's go. Yeah, no, Frost and Bleed are doing a lot of the heavy lifting right now. So after beating Radahn and leveling up my flasks a little bit, I went back and fought Morgott. No! If you've watched my videos in the past, I'm proud to say that I'm a lot better at Morgott now than I was then. But at the end of the day, this whip setup is kind of busted. This just tore him apart. But I knew I could push this even further, and that involved completing the Volcano Mana quest. Now this would involve me killing a few other Tarnish, but I only cared about the third one I had to kill, because he would drop me a second pedal whip. You f***er. He was a bit of a pain in the ass, but I caught him with a lucky bleed, so he just went down like that. Oh, thank f***. And also, since I was on the mountaintop of the giants, I could get both of them to plus 18. I picked up Bloodhound's Step, and I got the Glintstone Wet Blade this time. And this setup was actually monstrous. Fucking hell. So yeah, I finally had my main weapons ready to go. I also did start Fear's questline just so that she could get in position for when I needed to go do Fortissax. I fear. But since I had done all of the Volcano Mana questline, I had a teleport to Rykard, so I might as well do him next. And I tried. I really did try. What the f- Dude, I'm not even getting the attack off. It's running away from me. Ah, for f***'s sake. I couldn't do it. Fighting Rykard with just whips at this point in the game was way too hard. So defeated, I decided to push this till later and go fight 3 other Remembrance bosses instead, starting with the Regal Ancestor Spirit. Hey. Now the only real problem I faced with this boss was the heal. If you heal, I will be very upset. Oh, for f- every time! There we go. But even with that in consideration, this boss is super easy. Now to get to the next boss, I had to grab this item for Rani, but I didn't give it to her until a little bit later. Now let me tell you a little story before we go on to this next section. I hate gargoyles in this game. They're so fast and scary and they never really clicked with me. I suck at fighting them. So how do you think I feel when they make me fight 2 of them at once? Oh my god. Poison breath. Okay, one's down. What? Thank fuck, man. I got a headache from how angry that makes me. You could combine the hate of the entire world and that would equal a quarter of the amount of hatred I feel for that f***ing boss fight. I know, at the end of the day, skill issue, I hate the god. Anyway, the reason I was down here was to find Fear, because obviously I needed her to take me to Fortissax so I could fight the Remembrance boss that was down here. This is where that item I grabbed earlier comes into play. When given to Rani, we get this statue which turns this tower upside down so we can go and grab this item to give to Fear to get to the boss. Lich Dragon Fortissax is a boss that I've only ever beaten twice in my entire time playing Elden Ring. Both times I was over leveled so I came back and completely slammed him. So this was really my first time properly fighting him. And I'm dead. There I go. Holy sh... And to say this fight is overwhelming is a huge understatement. I'm gonna focus on him, myself, the surroundings, everything. Oh. Whoa. Oh. No. No. And I can't show you much of this fight because my computer was shit itself. I was getting like 30 frames. Come on, this is the one. Fucking hell. Only one boss left until I went back and tried to beat Rykard. Don't get sniped. Astel was going to be a little bit harder because I'm pretty sure it's resistant to Frost and Bleed because I didn't proc it very often. Either way, this fight ended up being a lot harder than I was expecting. Haha! Please don't do the big asteroid attack. No. No! Oh! With that low, come on. There we go, okay. But to be fair, the bosses I was finding more difficult at this point were still going down pretty easily. I was getting pretty good with the whips now. With 3 more Remembrance bosses out of the way, I thought I'd go fight Rykard because I was significantly higher level now, and I thought it would be easier. I was wrong. Oh, man. Not ready for this. The only damage I take is from this lava. It's a good day. Fuck. Oh no! Why are you running, you Dude, this is so frustrating. This is not how anyone should go about fighting this boss, man. I only have one flask left. I'm fucked. There we go. Oh, it was such bullshit trying to fight him like this. But there was one moment specifically that broke me. One thing that pushed it too far. Stop running away from me. Stop. Bro, what? It's just constantly running. Dude, I swear. Nah, it's impossible. He just runs. He just runs away. It's impossible. I was doing so well, but then he just... Yeah, look at him go, man. Are you... An attempt that was going so well got ruined because his AI is designed to not let me close to him. This way of beating him is designed to be impossible. So I used the Serpent Hunter. I was trying for an hour and a half to beat him with the whips and I was making no progress. A gimmick fight is a gimmick fight, simple as that. I know people have beaten it with like swords and all that kind of... I wasn't good enough to beat him like this. I just couldn't do it. I'm healthy enough to admit that. Damn, did that hurt. I did all of that preparing. I went and fought all those bosses leveling up, so confident that I'd be able to come back and beat him, and I couldn't. I'm finishing him with webs, I don't care. It was humbling, really. I honestly thought that I'd be good enough to do it, and I just couldn't. I realized I'm not as good at the game as I thought I was after all of the challenges that I've done so far. I knew that what I was trying to do was possible, I just wasn't good enough to do it. I was kind of embarrassed that I was going to have to show everybody that I failed beating Rykard with just the whips.